Hello YouTube, welcome to Traps Tuesday Tunes. Today we're going to go over this simple bamboo farm. It is kind of custom built. It's based on a lot of standard designs that have been pretty prevalent throughout Minecraft, but we're gonna go ahead and build it up, and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and place down a little starting point. This is going to be where our rails are going to end up. So we're going to want to go ahead and set out several of them. We'll just do a 6 wide one, but really this could be as wide as you want it to be as long as it doesn't surpass the ability of pistons to push blocks. Remember, it only pushes half the blocks, so you can have half the block push limit on each side of this machine. But we're going to go ahead and just do 6 across. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place down some rails. And about halfway back, we're going to go ahead and place down a few of these redstone blocks. Then right here at this end, we could either place it in front of it or we could place it underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and place it underneath it here. I placed it in front of it there. That way you can see both of them. But we'll go ahead and place this down. And then we will place this down this way. What we want to do is have this track curve in, and we'll have this track go straight. So that way the minecart will roll in here, get on this block, hit the block that's going to be here, and run that way with this powered rail. So again, we're going to need to go ahead and place a block here. One thing to keep in mind, on all of these blocks, we have to make sure that we do not have any redstone updates on these tracks, or it's going to make it all fail. One thing I did forget over here, we will need underneath each of these ones with the blocks a hopper facing out in that direction, or they could face in any direction really, but out in that direction works the best for the way I would build it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. On this side, we again need to make sure that this curves back into here and puts it on this that goes straight with this line. So we're just going to build that up on all of these so that the entire system looks just like that. One thing to note, when you're placing in these rails, sometimes it can be a little frustrating because of the way rails work. If you just mess around with it for a bit, you can probably figure out how to get them to face the correct direction. It's just a matter of the order you place them in. What I have found is if you place a rail here and then place the rail here, this one is less likely to turn into it. So that's a good way to get around those rail updates. And sometimes you do need to break the rail and then replace it in order to get it to do what you really want it to do. Alright, so once you have that done, what you want to do is go in here and place down a hopper minecart onto each one of these unpowered powered rails. Then we'll go ahead and place a line of blocks beyond these blocks. Make sure you don't place the redstone right here because that will update that, and this will all get turned around and messed up and make it not work. So you want to make sure you place it just like that. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and place redstone on top of all of these blocks. Now, of course, these are iron blocks, but they could be any building block that you want. No worries there. Now what we want to do is come in here and place down dirt blocks on top of every single one of these rail blocks. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and build up this side of the build, 2 extra blocks. Then come right to the center here. And what we're going to do is we're going to place down an observer facing in this direction, and then I like to use a obsidian block to make sure that it can't go through, but if you had like a wall here that was thick enough, it might be fine. But obsidian will guarantee that you don't have any problems with the system. Then go ahead and place a repeater facing off in this direction. And I like to go ahead and put that on 4 ticks. Really, it could be on 2 ticks, I think, and it would be fine. Well, 4 ticks works well. Make sure it's not on 1 tick, though, because if it's on 1 tick, it will actually break the flying machine. And then I like to use leaf blocks, but really any unmovable block, could be obsidian or whatever. But place something along here to make it so that the bamboo doesn't shoot through this. And then you probably do want to go ahead and build this wall up at least several blocks, but that's completely optional. If you don't do that, however, what you're going to find is you are going to end up with bamboo shooting out the end. But that is optional. Alright, now on this side what we want to do is go ahead and place down a row of blocks here. Again, this is to make sure that the bamboo doesn't shoot out in this direction. And then we're going to build that same observer system on this side. Now, if you wanted to, you could recess this in the wall a little bit. You just have to be careful that none of the blocks that the slime blocks are going to touch is going to be affected by the system. But what I like to do is just go ahead and place it here like this. And then on this side, we're going to add a redstone torch underneath. Alright, now as you saw, this did go ahead and update these blocks so they're powered. So we are going to have to redirect this piece of redstone right here. If it lines up like this, all you have to do is place a piece of redstone dust down below instead, and that will make this system work. And as you can see, all the minecarts stopped moving, so that is perfect. On this side, it lined up with the gap here. So what I had to do was just redirect it around to the back side. So not these blocks, but these block 3 right here. This is to get the signal to go around the back side, which is fine. Just make sure that this redstone torch isn't powering this redstone line, and you'll be good. Alright, now again, we need to place our redstone repeater right here. Again, I like it on 4 ticks. And then we do need our line of leaf blocks as well as our line of building blocks up above if we want to contain the bamboo better. Alright, now on this side what we want to do is we want to actually take a signal off of the block that's going to come in right here. What we're going to have is we're going to have a line of sticky pistons and then this block right here. And when this comes into this point, we want to update this signal right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take an observer signal off of that. Then we're going to bring that out 2 and bring it down and then over. And at this point, we need to take a couple of blocks here, and we will stick a redstone repeater. Make sure this goes on 4 ticks, because that will make sure that the minecarts have enough time to get off of the powered rail before it becomes unpowered. If it's only 1 tick or 2 ticks, they might just make it partway off before it turns off, and that would not work. And so what that's going to do is, as this flying machine leaves, all of the minecarts are going to go and collect the items as the flying machine is going. And then once the flying machine gets back, they're going to actually be sent off again so that they go all the way down and back. And so that's the most elegant way I have found to do that system. Alright, now we're going to put an observer right here facing that repeater. We are then going to put a line of slime blocks. We then need to get a sticky piston facing in this direction so that it's facing in. We then need to put a sticky piston here, and then a slime block. Slime block's going off in this direction. This last one should be a non-slime block, something that can get drug. And then the last thing we need to do is place in an observer facing in this direction. Now we're going to break both of those blocks, and we are good. Now, the reason this flying machine didn't take off is because this right here is powered. So that is making it so that that won't happen. Now, in order for us to make it take off when we want it to, we need to power this block. Now, over here, I just went up the side because it lined up with the gap here, so I was able to put a piece of redstone right here on top of this block, and then just block off the signal with this block to power that block. Now, on this side, because it lines up with one of these pieces, we aren't actually going to be able to do that as easily. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in from the backside, which is just fine. So we will bring in our signal from here, and then we can go up to wherever we want to go, or down, or really whatever direction we want the redstone signal to come from, as long as it doesn't connect with anything we already have, is going to be just fine. So in this case, I'll just come up right here. For this test purpose, we'll just place the block right here, but it really could go, the button right here, but it really could go anywhere. You could place it all the way up, place it all the way down. On the Brocraft server, I actually built this entire farm underground, and the button is up on the surface. So whatever you want to do, you can do. Now, the one thing to note, bamboo does need a light level of 10. So if you do something like I did, where you built it underground, you are going to need to put lights along the sides in order for the bamboo to be able to grow, because otherwise it won't have enough light and it won't grow. So if you want it to grow, make sure you have a light level of 10 where the bamboo is. But that said, this is done. Now, obviously, the bamboo under this can't grow, and the bamboo behind this won't ever get broken. And then on this side, the bamboo behind this side, so just the first 4 here, or 5, sorry, in this example, won't be able to get cut down. So you don't necessarily need to plant those places because they won't ever grow. But now it's just a matter of planting all of the bamboo. Alright, and now that the bamboo is all placed, we can go ahead and run the system. And as you can see, I press that button, the minecart take off, the flying machine takes off, and the flying machine hits this side and goes back. That was really weird. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know what happened. But as soon as the flying machine made it back, all the minecarts did go for a second trip. Let me make sure that I didn't do something wrong. Yeah, it must have just been glitchy. That was weird. But yeah, it worked that time. And they once again go, and you'll see there's no bamboo laying on the ground. Now, you do want to build up walls on this as well, just like the walls here, because otherwise items will fall off the sides. Now, if you don't mind losing a little bit, that's fine, but that's going to be a thing. And then now at this point, the system is fully working, except that the only place that the bamboo is inside of that hopper. And we can see that there is bamboo in that hopper, but that doesn't help us right now. So what we just need to do is build hopper lines off of all of those hoppers and take that to our collection system, whatever system that is. Obviously, we'll have to do a little bit of rerouting right here, but we can just bring that over and down, and that's fine. And that is our system done. Alright, now a couple quick notes about this particular design. First of all, it actually can be expanded in this direction. You're just going to need to make sure that you do have some powered rails in the middle of the track as you go along in multiple places in order to keep the minecarts rolling along. But as long as you place them out regularly, you should be good. I believe it's like every 8 blocks will work. And then you could just keep extending this down, but obviously you don't want to go too large, but it would work. Obviously, if you have so much bamboo that the minecart hopper fills up, that's going to make it so that there is going to be items left on the ground if it can't pick it all up in the second trip. The other thing to note is that your walls will probably want to be as tall as bamboo can grow if you are going to let this build up. As right along the edge, you will lose some items on top of the walls if you only build them up a little bit. So like these ones right here, this is not the max height of bamboo and could be a problem. Finally, as you'll notice, I only ran this system off of a button. You could set up some sort of a timer or a daylight sensor or whatever to make this auto harvest, and that would be functional. The reason I opt out of doing that is I don't like the chance of the flying machine breaking, and if I unload the chunk in the middle of it harvesting, there is always a chance that that could happen. Also, the minecarts, in theory, if it gets unloaded just at the wrong time, could get caught between unpowered, in the middle of unpowered rails, and that could be a problem. So I try to keep it so that I only manually run the bamboo farm, plus it actually gets me quite a bit of bamboo, and I don't need a lot of bamboo anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. So that's the way I do it, is I just run it off of a button. But you could easily hook this up to any sort of a timer or daylight sensor or whatever to make it work that way instead, if that's something you want to do. I just choose not to, and that's the reasons why. And also, as discussed before, you need to make sure that it's not going to be a block that the sticky pistons can connect to anywhere that it goes, but you could have this entire system go into the wall so that the entire section is in fact plantable and can grow up into bamboo. I opt to do it this way just because it's a little bit easier and it doesn't require resources that are harder to get, but it is definitely possible to do that if you so desire. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to Traps Tuesday Toots. I hope this has been helpful, and take care, guys. And remember, folks, don't get trapped without me. Bye-bye.